Hello guys, it's HulloAlice here with the Paletteful Packs YouTube channel, and I'm here to show you the March Premiere Pack. The March Premiere Pack is a watercolor painting pack, which has me so excited because if you watch my channel then you know that watercolors are my absolute favorite medium, so I can't wait to dive on into this and see everything that's inside. The first thing that we have in here is this Koi Watercolors Pocket Field Sketch Box. This has 12 half pans in it, a 4 milliliter refillable water brush, and one sponge. Let's open it up and you can see what it looks like inside the box. This is what it looks like inside. As you can see here, all 12 colors, all of them have numbers. There's a little mixing palette right here. Here's your water brush, which splits into two so that it can fit into this little travel palette, and your sponge for cleaning off your water brush. The next thing in here are these Niji pearlescent watercolors. These look so pretty. Let's take them out of this plastic packaging. So these watercolors are rich pearlescent cake colors. They can be used alone or with other water-based media. They are non-toxic, and the hinge lid is also going to be able to be used as a mixing palette if you so desire. Look how pretty those are. I love metallics, so I can't wait to use these. And this has a really large variety of different metallic colors as well. I even see a peach one in here. So the next things I see in here are some paper. This is the Strathmore watercolor postcards. This comes with 15 acid-free 140-pound 4x6 watercolor postcards. So you can open it up and there are these little postcards inside, and oh my gosh, look at that. As you can see, the backs even have a little place for a stamp, place for you to write your address, and place for you to write your message, so you can paint your own postcards and send them to your friends. That is such a cute idea. The next thing in here is a Derwent watercolor pencil. So the Derwent watercolor pencil that I got is ultramarine, which is one of my favorite colors and one of the most versatile. Watercolor pencils can be used as regular color pencils, or you can add water over the top to create some really stunning watercolor effects. I love using watercolor pencils to sketch with and then add a little bit of water to add some shading, so that's going to be great for this. So the last thing I'm seeing in here is this Strathmore watercolor visual journal. This has 140-pound watercolor paper in here, and it is cold press, and the watercolor postcards are also cold press as well. And this has 44 pages, 22 sheets, 5.5 by 8 inches. So when you open it up, there's this beautiful brown cover with this sort of mottled effect on it. It kind of looks like faux leather almost. It says, unlike typical journals, Strathmore visual journals deliver high-performing papers and heavy-duty features engineered to meet the intense demands of your creative process. The wire binding allows the journal to lie flat and open up 360 degrees. Looks like you can definitely, oh yeah, look at that. So this will be a great little travel journal. I am excited to get started with this visual journal as well. So this is everything that comes in the March Premiere Pack for watercolor painting. You get your watercolor postcards, your visual journal, watercolor pencil, this whole watercolor travel set, and these beautiful pearlescent watercolors. So I can't wait to dive in and make some art with these. So like always, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to swatch all of the supplies to see how they perform. I decided to work in the visual journal because it was bigger, and that's where I decided to swatch all of them as well so that I could see how they worked on that paper. For the metallic paints, I poured a little bit of water on top of them using a pipette, and I let it sit for a few minutes to soften them for greater pigmentation. So there's a tip for when you guys get your own Paletteful packs this month. So for the actual drawing, I decided to draw my new house. I just bought a house. It's my first house and I'm very excited about it. And I wanted to post about it on social media, so I figured kill two birds with one stone and draw my house. So I drew up this little sketch of my house, and I decided to start the sky with watercolor pencil because I was going for a more cartoony look, and I decided that the bright ultramarine would be really nice. It was easy for me to get the details between the trees and the branches as well with a watercolor pencil. Then I used the water brush from the Koi palette to fill in the sky. This was great because I didn't have to stop and start to refill water, so I really enjoy using water brushes on watercolor pencils. The tip of this water brush was really, really thin, and that made it really easy for me to get into detailed areas. Then I worked on the underpainting. So I started by blocking in all of the colors. That was my first priority. I started by toning down the blue of the sky just a little bit because it was maybe a little too blue. And then I added in the flat colors for the grass. And then I actually did something that I very rarely do, but since these koi watercolors did have white in them, I played around with adding white into the sky to try to create a more flatter, semi-opaque look. Then I went ahead and added in the driveway, and I used wet on wet techniques here to create a more interesting textured look. Then I continued to play with the sky and add in some flat colors to the fence and the trees. I like to get in all of my flats before I go too crazy with the shading, just so that I can see how the whole picture looks all together. For example, by putting in all of these flats, I realized that the sky just wasn't quite working for me, and that's why I continued to make changes to the sky. I wanted to try out the darker colors in the paint palette as well, so I used those to add branches and details to the fence and trees. I did this instead of using a liner pen, and I really liked the look, so it was something that I decided that I wanted to add in more later on. Then I started adding the flats to the house. My house color was very difficult to match. It's sort of this weird purpley, tanny, browny, grayish color, and it was really difficult for me to get the right color, but I think I was able to get something that looked okay. And then I decided to go in with the details. I began to refine the grass using a dark green and upward flicks of my brush. I also realized that I had painted this picture in the summer, but I'd put in trees that were more appropriate for winter. So I decided to go in and add on some green foliage to the trees. These koi paints can be built up to a semi-opaque opacity, and so that made it a little bit easier for me to add the foliage on top of the sky and trees that I'd already painted. Then I went ahead and added the detailing of the wood and planks and paneling and all of that good stuff around the house. I also added detail to the roof, the fence, the trees, just kind of made it look a little bit more finished before I moved on to the final details. I was really excited to play with these metallic paints, and I decided to use them in the sky first and foremost, again to continue to flatten and even out that sky color, but also to add some sort of radiance and glow behind the house. Before I went in with any further metallic paints, I decided to do my sort of line-esque look with the black koi paint, sketchy paint lines, I guess you could call them, and that defines the whole house and makes the painting kind of unify together and just look a lot more finished. And then after that, I used the last of the metallic paint to add touches to the leaves of the trees, the trim of the house, and the roof. It was really fun for me to paint with these paints and to try all of these different supplies. I had a really great time, and it was nice to paint my new house. I hope that you guys liked this video. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to get your own Premier Paletteful pack, then don't forget to visit the website. It'll be linked in the description box down below. Subscribe to Paletteful Pack's YouTube channel to see every unboxing and demo we put out, and we'll see you guys next month. Bye!